Well, today we're going to attempt to repair this mower deck. This is a John Deere mower deck, 48-inch mower deck, mulcher. Anyway, you can see this is an idler pulley here, and this is the way it's supposed to go. It just broke right out of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to clean this up. Maybe take this pulley apart here so I can get this shaft out of here, and we're going to try to weld this shaft back on here. I'm probably going to put a reinforcement plate of some kind on there and try to get this to function properly again. I'm not sure why it broke. I hope it's not overly corroded. If it's corroded, this deck might be scrapped, but I'm hoping we can salvage it. A proper working level. There we go, that's about right. Yeah, part of the problem here is the bottom of this mower deck is kind of rotted. It's not super rotted, but you know, that's what happens when you don't clean your mower deck. The grass just rots that steel right out. We're gonna try to weld a patch on here, and hopefully it's gonna hold. The metal seems to be a little better the further back you go. But the further away you get from that area, the more solid the metal is. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a piece of steel in there, probably some 12 gauge or 10 gauge, and try to get this so it's workable. Okay, so I took this pulley apart. The bearing is fine. The bearing is fine. This went through here. After looking at the way it was set up, this bolt, I mean, you can see how corroded it is. It's this is like a carriage bolt with a square on it. There's nothing left to it. But this is actually pretty solid. You know, after taking a look at it, it's actually pretty solid. It fatigued, you know, from the vibration, I guess. So this basically sits at that level, and this comes up through the bottom, through the sheet metal. So the only thing that was holding this carriage bolt on there is that sheet metal. We're going to put a patch on here. We're going to weld a patch on there. I'm going to see if I can come up with something a little bit better than this. Because, I mean, there's actually quite a bit of pressure on this. You know, this holds, you know, the belt comes around through here, and so there's a lot of pressure on that. And if it's vibrating, I could see how that metal would fatigue. So if I put a patch on there and weld this to the patch and to that, so that this is basically taking the brunt of the weight and not this little carriage bolt. I think that'll be a better repair, and I'll still bolt it through back the other side, because what I'll do is after I weld this onto the patch, weld this on, I'll drill a hole through that hole, and then I'll go through the bottom side, and I'm not going to use a carriage bolt. I'll probably use just a regular hex bolt, and to bolt this through, and I think that'll do the trick. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is sandblast this thing. That's the easiest way to clean this up. Turn this on. Yeah, that cleaned it up pretty good. Look at that. That's definitely weldable now. Okay, I found a nice piece of steel here. This is 1/8 inch, 123 thousandths, so that's a lot heavier than what's here. And then we'll be able to, we're going to shape this a little bit to kind of follow this radius here and square it off down here. We'll weld that in there, and think that's going to give us a good solid repair. I'm going to mark the length off on this. Something right around like that. A little here, a little here. Okay. Let's go over to the bandsaw here. Nobody wants to watch a bandsaw cut. I'll speed this part of the footage up. It's a little table I made. Works pretty good. Blade is shot. I'm gonna change this blade. I like to run it, make sure it's going to track okay. Alright, let's try this again. Ah, yeah, much better. So this is what we got. I'm going to weld that right on there. Something like that. Got to clean off a little bit more metal right here. I got to change my wire out in my welder. That's I got 045 in there. I got to change it out to 035. Now this is a little thing I made out of felt. I don't know if you can see that. With just a big huge paper clip. And what I do with that is I clip it on the wire here. So as the wire feeds through, it cleans the wire that came up with. Because I had a lot of wire that had been hanging around the shop and it got dusty and it was welding like crap. And this seems to work really good because, you know, I mean, instead of put them in a dust-proof container and I'm just not that organized. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but it's not 035, it's 030 wire. This is just Harbor Freight wire. Works fine. ER70, I believe it is. Yeah, ER70S6. Let's see how thick this mower deck is. A little over 100 thousandths. More power. There we go. Harbor Freight calipers. They fell on the ground. See, that's why I don't cry about. I got about 10 pairs of these things. They're laying all over the shop. You can see I got chemicals on them. I drop them. But you know, for banging around, these are great. Okay, we found us a bolt. Found us a couple of bolts actually. The one that was in there is actually metric, but 5/16 will work because this hole is real sloppy here. So what we're going to do, here's a 5/16, it fits right in that hole. And it had a flange nut, but we're going to put a nylock on it with a flat washer. That'll do the trick. So now I'm going to weld this on here. After I weld this, I'm going to drill a hole right through there, and then I'm going to feed the bolt up through the bottom. But now, see, that was holding the whole entire load. Now it's just going to hold this vertical load. This bolt is just going to, before I was holding the side load and everything, because I'm going to weld this onto this. And I'm not going to go crazy welding it on there, but I'm going to put a few tacks on it, you know, make it nice and secure so that the side loads are bore by this flange thing here instead of on the bolt. So the bolt will just be holding the vertical load. Inside here. That ain't going nowhere. That's beautiful. This goes through there like that. This goes on that. This goes on there. Throw a flat washer on there. Stronger than the day it was made. That concludes that repair there. Stay tuned. I'm going to make another video about sharpening the blades and balancing them. Probably the next episode after this one. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you like this kind of content. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. Just a thumbs up and a comment and a subscription goes a long way towards encouraging me to keep doing this. It definitely takes a lot more time to do these kinds of repairs, setting up the camera and then with video editing and all that. I enjoy doing it. Just a little thumbs up and a comment goes a long way. Thank you.